Saturday morning, August 22nd, 2026. The call came in from a rural property outside Forest Grove, Oregon, 25 miles west of Portland. A vehicle fire. On paper, the kind of call that ends with a hose, a report, and a tow truck. It did not end that way. Deputies from the Washington County Sheriff's Office responded that morning. What they found was not routine. It was not even close. 5 people were dead on that property, and the people were not the only ones. 2 dogs were killed, 2 cats. A 3rd cat, badly injured, had to be euthanized. The livestock survived and have since been moved to new homes. Sit with that for a moment. Dogs, cats, animals in the pasture. This was a home. The dead have names. Stella Jade Kimsey. She was 26. Rowan Kimsey, Mary Kimsey, 85 years old. Lindsay Haroldson, Alvin Chu. 3 of them shared a last name. Investigators have not made public everything about who they were to each other, and this film will not guess. What is public is enough. 5 people were on that property that Saturday morning. None of them survived it. Investigators identified a suspect, Benjamin Charles Parker, 36 years old. The following day, Sunday, 190 miles to the northeast, in Enumclaw, Washington, authorities found a vehicle. Parker was inside. He was dead. He had taken his own life. The sheriff's office said there was no continued threat to the public. There would be no arrest. There will never be a trial. Whatever Parker knew, he took most of it with him. Most of it, not all. In the days that followed, Detective Mark Pavolny of the Washington County Sheriff's Office laid out what investigators had learned. The killings were premeditated, planned, not a sudden loss of control, but a decision. And according to investigators, it began as domestic violence. Phone records and text messages supported the timeline they built. And then, the detail that is hardest to sit with. Before Parker killed himself, he confessed to what he had done. He told his own mother. Sheriff Caprice Massey called it one of the most complex scenes the county has encountered in more than 2 decades. And in one sense it was. In another sense, it was painfully familiar. This was not a stranger coming out of the dark. This was not random. In this country, the most common form a mass killing takes is exactly this one. It does not begin in public. It begins at home, with someone the victims knew. Which brings us back to that Saturday morning call. A vehicle fire on a rural property. The kind of call that should have ended with a report and a tow truck. But the fire was never the story. It was only the last visible sign of something that had been burning quietly, privately, long before anyone dialed 911. Investigators say this began as domestic violence, which means it began before August 22nd. It began behind closed doors, where this kind of violence almost always begins, and where it is hardest to see. In Forest Grove, Mayor Melinda Wenzel issued a statement, and Amy Babcock, executive director of the Domestic Violence Resource Center, said something that deserves more attention than anything else in this story. Leaving an abusive relationship, she said, is the most dangerous moment. Not the years before, the leaving. The moment a person finally reaches for the door is the moment the danger is greatest. Survivors know this. Advocates repeat it. The rest of us keep failing to hear it. So remember how this story first reached the outside world. Not as a cry for help, as a vehicle fire. A routine call on a Saturday morning that turned out to be the end of something that had been happening out of sight. Stella, Rowan, Mary, Lindsay, Alvin. 5 people and the animals they kept, on a piece of land that was supposed to be safe. If someone you know is trying to leave a dangerous relationship, that is the moment they need you most. Help exists. The Domestic Violence Resource Center, the National Domestic Violence Hotline, open every hour of every day. No one should have to reach for the door alone.